Tensions in the MotoGP paddock flared again after Pedro Acosta made sharp comments that sparked the ire of Ducati's boss. Acosta not only openly criticized Marc Márquez, but also touched on internal issues that the team had tried to keep under wraps. Now, suspicions point to a big name who's never truly disappeared from the racing scene: Valentino Rossi. Is this simply a rivalry between a young rider and an older one? Or is there a much deeper plot? Let's discuss it. Marc Márquez's dominance with Ducati in the 2025 season has created a new wave in the MotoGP world. This is not only due to his nearly perfect winning streak, but also the domino effect that is starting to be felt from the paddock. To the media room, the Sachsenring seems to be a stage 4 to Worlds, one led by Marquez's extraordinary performance and another rife with hidden conflicts. The climax didn't occur on the track, but behind the microphone. Pedro Acosta, a talented young rider from the Tech 3 Gas KTM team, made a scathing comment that shocked many and sparked anger at Ducati headquarters. After failing to finish the race at the Sachsenring due to a crash, Acosta appeared before the Spanish media with an unusual expression. No smile, no typical youthful jokes. All that was visible was a serious look in his eyes and an intense tone. In front of the journalists, Acosta delivered sharp, direct criticism, aimed straight at the heart of Ducati's strength. He accused the Bologna-based manufacturer of focusing its entire motorcycle development project on just one person: Marc Márquez. "It's not about who's fast or slow," Acosta stated firmly. "When a motorcycle is developed solely for one rider, it's no longer MotoGP. It's a personal project." The statement sparked an immediate chain reaction. Within minutes, it flooded social media and the headlines of sports websites. In Spain, journalists called it a ticking time bomb that had finally exploded. In Italy, the media portrayed it as a deliberate provocation intended to shake Ducati's dominance. The MotoGP world was immediately divided. Some praised Acosta's courage, calling him the voice of riders left in Marquez's shadow. Others criticized the comments, calling Acosta a young rider who isn't mature enough to understand the complex dynamics behind the scenes of a top team. One thing is certain: these comments have opened a new Pandora's box in a season that was already heated from the start, and there will be no turning back. What made the situation even more complex was the wild speculation that followed Pedro Acosta's sharp remarks. The spotlight turned to the young rider's close relationship with the VR46 environment. The racing ecosystem built by Valentino Rossi that has become a major force in MotoGP. Acosta has been seen training with members of the Rossi Academy several times. Several reports suggest that preliminary talks have begun regarding Acosta joining the VR46 racing team next season, particularly if the KTM project doesn't develop as expected. This closeness raises suspicions. Could VR46 have a hidden strategy to disrupt Ducati's internal stability, particularly regarding Marc Márquez's role? MotoGP observers are piecing together the puzzle and coming to a disturbing conclusion. If Rossi's camp indeed influenced Acosta's remarks, then it's more than just the young rider's opinion. It could be a political maneuver to revive an old rivalry. It wouldn't be on the track, like in 2015, but rather behind the scenes, with subtle yet sharp opinions, comments, and influence plays. Furthermore, old wounds from the Sepang clash incident have not fully healed among fans. Many believe that Valentino Rossi, now a legend, team owner, and powerful mentor to the new generation, will not stand idly by while Marc Márquez, once again, becomes the absolute symbol of MotoGP dominance. Pedro Acosta's statement sparked outrage at the Ducati headquarters in Bologna. Ducati CEO Claudio Domenicali responded quickly in a private interview that was later leaked to the Italian media. Domenicali held nothing back. His anger was palpable. "Acosta was never part of Ducati's development program," he said firmly. Acosta's comments showed utter ignorance. "We don't build bikes for one rider. We build winning packages for all our teams, and we've proven that over time." Most surprising, however, was Domenicali's apparent dig at Valentino Rossi, a legendary figure who now wields significant influence over the VR46 team. "There are those who don't like seeing others succeed," Domenicali said coldly. "But using a young rider as a tool to spread a false narrative is something we deeply regret. Ducati will not engage in such cheap politics." In a show of assertiveness, Domenicali threatened to take drastic action. He mentioned the possibility of restricting certain teams' access to Ducati's technical areas if this baseless narrative continued to be fueled publicly. If this continues, he asserted, we will begin to question who is really playing dirty behind the scenes. The atmosphere in the paddock changed drastically immediately. Tensions ran high, and the competitive atmosphere became tinged with personal drama. Several riders chose to remain silent, seemingly reluctant to say anything that could further inflame the situation. Meanwhile, social media exploded with debate. Further dividing the MotoGP fan community, some argued that Marquez was indeed receiving too much special treatment from the team and the media. However, many also defended him. Given that he won 10 consecutive sprint races and swept the Sachsenring, was it fair for the team to give him priority? This question sparked a deeper debate about fairness, achievement, and the champion's role within the team. Amidst the chaos of public opinion, senior journalists began to speak out. In his characteristically blunt style, Carlo Pernot said, "What Acosta did was very brave. But sometimes courage without understanding can backfire." Matt Oxley added that in MotoGP politics, not everything can be understood on the surface. This emphasizes that the situation is more complicated than it seems. Despite the swirl of drama, criticism, and ongoing internal issues, Marc Márquez maintained remarkable composure. He wasn't tempted to make controversial statements or retaliate against his critics. Instead, Márquez simply conveyed one meaningful message. He works hard every day to make Ducati the best it can be. However, sources within the team revealed that behind that calm exterior, Márquez was well aware of the psychological game being played around him. He knew there was hidden pressure and a mental battle underway. Rather than engage in a war of words, Márquez chose to retaliate with the most lethal method possible, victory after victory. The result? At the Sachsenring, he didn't just win, he dominated. He dominated brutally. It was an unforgiving performance without a single glitch. His performance wasn't just about speed, it also demonstrated mental and technical superiority. It was as if he wanted to send a clear message to his rivals and the commentators. You can talk as much as you want off the track, analyze, and form opinions, but on the track, only one thing matters: time, and the time was his. As the situation heats up, the 2025 MotoGP has become more than just a competition for speed. It has become a battleground for influence, prestige, and history. Can Ducati maintain its internal stability? Can Márquez maintain his focus amid the increasingly heated narrative war? Most intriguingly, will Valentino Rossi truly step down, increasing the pressure on his longtime rival? Share your thoughts below.